Liverp double OL. Hello and welcome to the Cult of Cantona podcast, live from Dublin City, pre-recorded from Dublin City, I should say, post international break and FA Cup glow with myself, PBL, and what's your name again?
It's Iman.
Iman.
Yes,
okay. How do I pronounce your surname? Jaffrey.
Jaffrey.
Okay. Okay.
That's me.
That's you. Loads and loads to talk about. We've been off for the international break. There's various Man United links over the international break that we'll talk about as well, including Kobe Mainu and
I thought we agreed to talk for an hour about how much Liverpool suck.
Yeah, they do suck. They do. See, I'm trying not to rub salt. If we had already
I'm rubbing salt.
If we had already played them twice in the league and then that FA Cup, I wouldn't shut up about it for the whole summer.
Yeah. I was watching it with a friend of mine who's a Liverpool fan, and I was such a bad winner. But at the end, I was like, you know what? It's been 10 years of pain. Let me just have this.
Yeah, it really was to highlight like the heading I have for this. We write a few notes just about kind of talking points and stuff. And the note I have for this particular section about the Liverpool section is looking back and laughing at Liverpool. We haven't had a lot to laugh about over the last season, really. Well, for the last 10 years, but since we've been doing this,
we got to milk it as much as we can, really.
Yeah. It was kind of glorious. And look, and the great thing about it was it the greatest game of football ever? Probably not.
I thought it was fantastic.
No, but like in terms of technically,
oh no, yeah.
There was just like defenses falling apart.
Yeah. It was so open and just chaotic.
It was like basketball. It was up end to end stuff.
Amazing for a neutral though. If you were watching that game, you'd be entertained for a full 120 minutes. Yeah,
I just want to get this out of the way first and say that we didn't deserve to win, which makes it all the better. You have to be a football fan first, and that's why I enjoyed the game so much, because we kind of, we robbed it from them. Yeah, and they've done that to us, and they've done that to several teams over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
In the last minute, just stealing a winner.
I guess we'll talk about it more in depth as we go on, but like those last two goals that we scored, there was complete suicidal football from Liverpool. Yeah, but we'll get into that a bit later as we go through the match. But
yeah, I think look, it was a. I'd go so far as to say that it was the best football match that I'd imagine it's akin to Liverpool when they beat us 7-0.
Yeah.
And it has to, obviously that's because of the occasion of it all, the FA Cup, but also the kind of the nature of the game. It were like one of my favourite Man United games ever. Is a long time ago when we played Liverpool as well, and it was a 3-3 draw, and it had a similar kind of end to end kind of they get one, we get one, they get one, we get one, and it was just amazing. And it's made all the more pleasurable because Klopp is leaving at the end of the season. Yeah,
it's the kind of game like you come off with the thrill of winning it last minute 4-3 against Liverpool, and at Ten Hag, if he's like any coach worth his salt, he'd rip that team apart and be like, "What were you doing out there?"
Yeah, but he was just like, "Go."
Yeah,
and
what was like, tactically, it was just like you'd rip into the. You know what I mean?
Yeah, It was like what was really satisfying as well was Bruno finishing up the game in the back four.
Yeah. What was the back four that ended the game? It was Bruno, Maguire, Anthony, and who?
I think there was only three.
Was it?
Yeah. And that's what was so satisfying about it. It's it seemed like Man United of old. Yeah. And Bruno was injured clearly for the last 10 minutes, and he was like hobbling around. Yeah. And you could see and that reminds me of Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney did that one time. He played on when he was injured, and Robson used to do that all the time. Yeah. So there was a real sense of that kind of United, Stretford End rising kind of vibe again, which was really fantastic.
Yeah. Should we go through the match step by step?
Yeah.
So first of all, Scotty Too Hotty once again. Good poacher's goal, actually. I keep saying, play him number 9. Fuck it.
I mean, it just anytime he gets criticism, he just he seems to come on. Then, like when there's overt criticism of him online or in the press, he just pops up and scores then, and to shut people up.
Yeah, it wasn't the most technically amazing goal. It was a scruffy little finish at the end, Yeah. But he was there, bundled it home, gave us a great start.
Yeah, a goal is a goal, a joke is a joke, and no goal is no joke.
Exactly.
And that's what I really like about him is that he just has a load of heart, and especially in a time where Anthony and Rashford have come out so publicly saying that they, you know, when playing badly, how they don't get support, how they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah. Whereas you have McTominay, I know nothing about his private life. I don't care. Yeah. None of us care. Yeah. And when he gets criticised, he goes out, and that's how he answers it. Yeah. So they all need to take a leaf out of his book. It was great. Yeah. Continue on.
Oh, then we conceded 2.
Yeah, should we forget about them?
The first McAllister goal, good goal. Like, it was a great finish. Yeah. I don't think Onana could do much about that. The second one, the Salah goal, when he just parried it straight into him. Yeah. You could argue, you know, it was a good save, but should he be punching that away from the centre of the box?
Yeah, I like Caoimhín Kelleher. I was surprised he was dropped.
That was very good
for the second game for the second Ireland game a couple of days ago.
Who started in goal? Was it
Bazunu? And he didn't look confident. He made a couple of errors. He was at fault for the first goal, and he was very obviously going to be beaten on his near corner on a goal that just hit the bar from not Shaqiri, the ex-Arsenal midfielder. What's his name? Xhaka. Yeah, I hate Switzerland. People who know me, particularly the football team. Like, look, there's no, you know, Liverpool are going to score. It doesn't matter who they're playing against.
Yeah, they had one ruled off for offside as well, just barely, but got lucky with that. And then, to be honest, when the 2 goals went in, I was down in the dumps. Wasn't confident at all. You know, I thought it would unravel, but they held on. Yeah, and
I felt, and it was weird because I've been very cynical this season, very cynical. Yeah, but I felt as if it was like something special was going to happen. I haven't felt that way in a while.
Did happen. Anthony with a 360 turn in the box, right foot into the bottom corner.
Yeah, he likes not doing that this season.
If you were thinking miracles would happen, that's like, forget winning 4-3 in the last minute. Anthony scoring a goal.
It was a fucking albatross
with his right foot. Like, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, if he could look, if he does that for the next 5 or 6 games, he can stay. Yeah. Otherwise,
no. I don't know. If I was Virgil van Dijk, I'd be embarrassed that I got turned by Anthony. Yeah. You know, that's shocking.
Yeah. No, he did. He made a fool of him. And yeah, I mean, extra time is always fun. Yeah. It was like I was watching it with a mate of mine, John. Hey, John. Shout out to John.
Hello, John.
John really enjoyed it. He said it was like the days of yore. Yeah. Men of our kind of generation will know that, you know, United, but you know, this is kind of, there was 2 games like there was an element of that kind of Galatasaray game, that 3-3 draw, even though it was just we threw it away. There was a pace to it, and there was an energy to it, and there was an atmosphere. The atmosphere in Old Trafford was incredible. Yeah. And it felt like a proper cup game, or that something was at stake. You know? It's great to see that. Yeah. And then we had that
Harvey Elliott with the massive deflection.
Coca noodle head.
What is that haircut, man? Honestly, like, we were watching the match and we couldn't stop commenting on it. Like, it's atrocious. Yeah. Like, what are you thinking?
There was Neymar had his hair like that for, I think, I don't know if it was for a couple of games or a publicity kind of thing. And then Cantona took the piss out of him and did something on social media where he put a packet of Coca noodles on his head. Let that be a warning to you. It's not a good look.
Should be barred from the Barbers Association or whatever they have.
Yeah, it was fucking a howler of a haircut.
Yeah, and a howler of a goal. Like, so unlucky. You know, the big deflection. But then Liverpool, what do you do? Like, Darwin Núñez, pretty much in like the left fullback position, trying to play it square, losing it straight to Marcus Rashford, and buries it. To be fair, it's a great goal. Great finish, but like, should never be in that position. I don't know what Núñez was thinking there.
It begs the question, though. I mean, the fight in them, was extraordinary.
It was a good. I think it was Bruno who pressed them.
Yeah.
They got the mistake, and like, you have to give props where props are due. You know.
No, absolutely.
It was late into the game, and he was still chasing down and forced the error.
Yeah, I don't think Bruno. Look, Fernandes is an interesting character insofar as half of the United fans really love him, and half are critical of him, but I wouldn't say hate him. Yeah. Certainly critical of him. You know, there's a lot of that. We've often spoken about it, about the hands in the air stuff off the ball. And when you go and see United live, you really notice that.
Yeah.
And I used to notice it a lot. Robbie Keane is similar in that way. Only Robbie Keane obviously scored a lot more goals, different positions or whatever. But you'd notice that he's off the ball when his head is down. He gets very petulant, and it's hard to watch. Yeah. Whereas you'd look at a Roy Keane or a Robson or a Bruce or even a Harry Maguire. I have to say this. Yeah. He's just getting on with the job. Yeah. And I think Bruno seems to have, particularly in that game, he showed what he's capable of in terms of the captaincy. Yeah. Is he was tracking back, he was the last man back, he was playing in the back four at the end, as we said, and he was clearly injured, and he was kind of the force to every ball. Yeah, yeah.
Which videos around social media as well when the goals went in, the celebrations. Yeah. You could see like him making like time for people that were integral in the build-up or going over to the goal scorer, like especially, which was really great to see.
Almost like a captain.
Almost like a captain. I think. I don't think there's any debate. Like I think he's like really loved in the dressing room. Yeah, and he seems like a great dude. He just has that little, petulant side to him, which.
Yeah, well, it makes him a winner, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know.
But there's ways to express that,
Yeah, I think that yeah, totally. It's I mean, what I suppose I don't play football, obviously, but like in life, there are people who from an extrovert perspective, they'll display that by venting off, and then there are people who build that up and then walk into McDonald's and shoot the place up. Yeah. So I suppose he's more of the former. Yeah. So yeah, look, with Coventry in the next round, you'd have to say that we should beat Coventry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a favourable draw.
It's way favourable for a semi-final of an FA Cup. It's crazy.
But like they deserve to be there. They've played really well. Fair play to them, and I don't think they should be taken lightly at all. They were they played the Championship playoff last year. They were pretty close to being Premier League. It's got a good squad. I watched that game actually, and they've actually lost their two best players that they had last year, and Hamer, who went to Sheffield, I think. Okay. And then Gyökeres, who went to Sporting Lisbon, and has actually got like the most goals and assists like in European football at the moment. Okay. He's got like 50 goals and assists in like 40 games. It's outrageous. I need to check these stats, but it's like he's literally the most efficient centre forward on the planet right now.
Yeah. Well, apart from Sammy Smodics, who I'm a big fan of that we'll talk a little bit about later on. Yeah, it was. It's an interesting debate about whether or not it's a fair draw, because it's the FA Cup, because anyone can knock anybody out. Yeah. I mean, United have been very ropey against lower tier teams. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that it's a guaranteed cup final for us.
No, and I love an underdog story. I'd love Coventry to be in the final, but when we got drawn against them, I want them to be squashed.
Squashing tree. Yeah, and look at there's obviously a link with us. Mark Robbins is managing Coventry, ex-United player, obviously with FA Cup pedigree, and he scored that winner for Fergie in 1990 in the FA Cup run.
Is that the one that saved his job?
Pretty much, yeah, little dart and header. Yeah. But bad sauce because, and you can understand why he was so excitable, Mark Robbins, but he celebrated. And did you see what he did to the ball boy?
No.
The ball boy wound him up at some point at the stadium, and then when Coventry scored, he celebrated in a child's face, like a crazy lunatic.
I did see this actually, yeah. And it was just recently, wasn't it? Yeah.
And you're like, why would you do that? It's completely unnecessary. That's a child.
Rattled by a ball boy.
Now, in fairness, you have to give credit where credit's due. He, in the presser afterwards, he said, "Look, I need to be better." I'm paraphrasing here, but I need to be better at handling my emotions.
At least they didn't kick him like Eden Hazard did.
Yeah, exactly. Now look, some ball boys are 17-year-old, lads. Yeah, and some are small.
They deserve a good kick sometimes.
Yeah, especially if they're not giving the ball back or they're messing around. Yeah. Or they're like a 12th player. Yeah. So look, Reds news of the week. Loads of Man United linked stories. Some players playing better than others on international duty. Some people not making the squad. Garnacho obviously getting the nod, and he got a number change as well.
Yeah, first international game for Argentina.
Yeah, first start, so fair play to him. He said, didn't he have an assist, or he set something up? I think.
I think so. I'm not sure. I didn't actually watch that game. And,
he did, as far as I know. So that's really positive. And Cobby is already running the England engine room.
Man of the match on his debut, like
it's crazy.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see. And like we were chatting in the last episode about him and whether or not he was. Whether or not he had the minerals, if he had the minerals to play for England, and he clearly does.
He looks like a duck in water.
Yeah,
out there, like he's
it's scary now, and like some people think that Bellingham is overrated. I don't. I think he's the real deal, and I think we, along with 5 other players over the last few years, we missed out badly on Bellingham. Like Bellingham was in.
Breaks my heart.
He did he did a tour of Carrington.
Yeah.
Fergie came down and met him. He met Brian Robson that day.
Yeah.
And he met one or two other legends and stuff.
I mean, to be completely fair to him, it seems like he made the right choice, but it still breaks my heart.
Yeah, he did. In terms of the kind of, earning your stripes. Mm-hmm. And not being overawed, but if you've heard that guy speak, he speaks like he's a 38-year-old pro in the twilight of his career. So
I'm a big fan. Big fan. He's unbelievable.
And for such a big guy as well, he's such good control on the ball.
Yeah, it's
amazing to see.
I know it gets thrown around a lot, but he is one of the best I've ever seen.
It's scary. Imagine him at 20 when he's in his prime at 26, 27.
This is just like a Bellingham getting started.
Yeah, it's frightening. And
but so was Mainu.
Yeah, Cobby is. Although he looks kind of slight, I think he's about 5'11", 6 foot, so he's well capable of handling that position.
Yeah, he's very physically gifted for that young age. A lot of young kids that come through, they have the skill but lack the physicality.
Yeah,
but Cobby seems to almost thrive in a physical environment, and then he's got those ballerina feet and just the calmest head in the stadium.
He's like the Daniel Day-Lewis of central midfields.
He's got everything.
He just takes. I've never seen so many for someone that young, how he has so much time on the ball.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
Yeah,
it's like watching an ice skater who's just kind of zipping around and then passing it to someone else and then zipping it to somebody else, and it's like Cobby.
Yeah,
amazing.
We could gush about him all night. The kid is like that, something else.
Yeah, and he's clearly a natural replacement for Casemiro when Casemiro moves off. Especially if he gets more physical in his game.
I actually kind of like him in the 8. Just a bit further up. I think the attributes he has. I think he could do a job at 6, a really good job.
Yeah,
but I think you kind of, if you put him back there, you kind of miss out on his ball carrying ability. Mm-hmm. And he
has everything. That's the thing. It's like a Bellingham. Bellingham can kind of play in 4 or 5 different positions easily.
Yeah.
I think Cobby will be able to do that. I think it's just that he's that goal he scored was great recently, but I think he'll press on and he'll play behind the front 2 as he gets older, and he'll be much more of a provider in a Bruno type way. I think that he's obviously he's been given a job to do.
Yeah,
and he doesn't that's the thing about young players. Yeah, the best young players are kind of obedient.
Yeah.
To the manager's wishes and do them well. But I think that once he's given the freedom to do what he wants, he's going to rip people apart.
Yeah. I think some of his more, he's been absolutely brilliant, but if you had to point out some of his weaker performances, probably came in that, 6th row where he's tasked with protecting the back 4. And you could put that down to the 6 is a position where experience is a lot. And you could put it down to him being inexperienced and being out of position sometimes. But when he's in the 8 and he has a bit more freedom to use his physicality and those beautiful feet, he really just dictates the tempo of a match at 18 years old.
But this is the thing. I mean, if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah.
I mean, even at kind of underage football, and we've played a little bit of football when we were kids. If someone is good, they just make everybody else look ordinary.
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous to watch.
Yeah.
It's like watching a painter or an actor or a musician just in full flow.
Yeah.
I remember a couple of years ago there was a movie that came out and it was on Zidane. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It was just the whole match covering him and all of his movements in one game, with, from 25 different angles.
Yeah.
And he's just like a trapeze artist, just kind of going for them, obviously not doing that, for them. You know, and just everything has just come so easily to him.
Yeah, give me 10 planks of wood and Zidane and I'll win you the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about other kind of related news. This is interesting, some stories that I was reading over the last day or two. The FAI are clearly holding all of their...
Fuck the FAI.
Yes, big time. Like, come on, can we not... Like, just quickly. I know
bring back the pyros.
bring back the schoolboy tickets for kids for a start. Can we stop overcharging kids for tickets for matches, especially for friendlies?
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Can we just drop... Like, fair enough. If you're going to charge... Like, this is the thing. If you get face value tickets at Old Trafford, it's £40. So round that off to euros, that's about, what, £45, £47 or whatever. Can they not charge 45 quid? Why are the cheapest tickets in the Aviva between 50 and 70 quid?
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Like, can they stop doing that to people?
Yeah.
Especially when they can't fill the stadium.
Yeah.
Like, I was at the game the other night and there was 35,000 people there. It was a great atmosphere because there always is, because we're idiots. Because we keep coming and giving their money, and you'll never beat the Irish, and ole, ole, ole. Yeah. And thanks. Like, but it's us the fans that create that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it really bugs me that the FAI just keep chipping away at our goodwill and good nature.
Yeah.
In other, like, they're kind of spoilt, because if that was Northern Ireland even, or if that was England, Wembley would be a ghost town.
Yeah, yeah. It's extortionate prices.
Stop doing that to us. And as well as that, they only launched new kits recently, and they brought out a new kit in like a new home kit in less than 12 months.
Yeah. And how much was I was looking at it actually online? How much is the 120 euros?
Something like that. The players' version, yeah.
Jesus Christ!
And it's like, with the greatest of respect to Castori, and they won't be sponsoring us anytime soon. It's really poor quality. Yeah. Like, the designs are nowhere near up to standard with Nikes and Adidas. Yeah. But anyway, moving on. John O'Shea did, I think, an okay job. Enough to be in contention for the job. But ultimately, I mean, he's not going to get the job, I don't think.
Was that just the 2 games he was in charge, wasn't it? Then?
Yeah, it was just interim. He was an interim boss. Yeah. I don't think he'll get it. I'd like to see him get it on one level, but I think that and John O'Shea's been earning the stripes. He was number 2 for Rooney, and he's been around. He's been doing his badges for years. He's very serious about this. Yeah. He seems to say the right things. He's very composed. He carries himself well. Ferdinand said that he has the minerals to manage United. I manage Ireland. I think that he'd do a reasonable job, but I think that the only way you get a performance out of okay players, some better than others for Ireland, is by getting someone in that they immediately respect on every level.
Well, someone you'd respect just based on his achievements is John O'Shea.
Yeah.
Especially for Irish football. And it's hard to come in and just have 2 games to prove or change anything. It's literally, you don't even have enough time to change the most basic of systems. You're just kind of carrying on what...
I'm going to cut across you and say 2 words, right? Roy Keane.
Mm-hmm.
He's already
take it, though?
I think he's had 3 meetings with them. I was reading in the press.
Yeah.
I think that they wanted him... They're saying they wanted him to do the interim job, and he said no.
Well, see, I think Roy Keane has standards, and I don't think the FAI would be able to meet Roy Keane's standards.
Well, he's done
probably demand a lot.
But this is the thing. Well, he's worked for the FAI for 3 years.
Yeah.
They know what he's like. He knows what they're like.
Yeah, and that's probably why he said no.
It's very possible. I think he's ready for it. I think that he could do a good job. I think he'll definitely get us to, a tournament. How we do there, I don't know. Yeah. But I think that that's what we need now. I think that everybody in that squad knows enough of him in terms of his if they're not familiar in terms of his playing career, or what he was capable of. I mean, what we're talking about here is an absolutely dynamo, and the woke culture is kind of changing now as well. It's shifting back ever so slightly. So I think that it's more appealing to the FAI to hire him now, because the big concern was, he said awful things about Jonathan Waters, and he was very hard on him. And like, for all Keane's plus points, he can also that can be perceived as kind of bullying and all of those things. But I think, to a degree, we need somebody who can motivate the players on every level.
Yeah.
And that means giving a kick up the arse. And, you know, there's lots of positive things happening. Evan Ferguson he's not playing well. His confidence is gone, but I believe in that lad.
Yeah, he's so young, and like, you know, like you said, like strikers just, they thrive on confidence.
Yeah.
And like, he just looks like a kid without confidence.
It'll come back.
He'll come back. He's, what is he, 19? He's not even 20 yet, is he?
And he's playing like, you know, he's playing better at his worst than Niall Quinn was playing when he was in his prime. Just to put it in context, because
I met Niall Quinn in a chipper in Dublin.
Did you? Did he give you a chip
in the morning? No, actually, he just told me to go away.
He's very tall, isn't he? He's very your size.
Yeah, he was.
Maybe a bit taller. I fancy Kane for the job. I do. I think
he'd be like a really good poster, like not a poster boy, but a good image for Irish football as well.
If they want to sell out the Aviva, if that's what it's about for them, they're getting back on their feet. You need Roy Keane in the job.
Yeah.
Gus Poyet, fair enough, getting us into the tournament. You know, he's a bit outspoken, but he's a mercenary.
Yeah.
Already in a job talking about another one. What would he do if things are not going well with Ireland?
Yeah.
Not a big fan of Poyet. The Roberto Di Matteo thing, he was at the stadium. But I don't think there's anything in that, because he's Swiss. He was born in Switzerland, played for Italy, but he was born in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And he's pals, I think, with one of the lads who have the FAI high jobs. So I think
What's
he was there
done
for that.
He left Chelsea, though. I haven't heard anything about him.
Not a lot. Well, he won a Champions League and an FA Cup as a manager.
And then he got sacked. And then
when Chelsea were third in the league.
Yeah. And then what did he do afterwards? I'm not like
Yeah,
trying
no,
to
no,
belittle him. I'm just
not at all.
genuinely curious as to what he's been up to.
He was coaching, and he managed in Germany, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think he managed Schalke, or one of the mid-table German teams.
All right.
Sorry to any Schalke fans there. You know, I'd say, like, I really like John O'Shea, I do. But there's an element of a, you know, I wouldn't even say a Steve Staunton to him, you know, but I think I'd favour Keane over O'Shea, because Keane has managed to a good standard. He has.
Yeah.
So when you couple that experience with his management experience, particularly with Sunderland, and go, is he capable of doing something like that again? I think he is.
Yeah.
I think that
his pure presence as well.
And Dave. Hey lads.
Yeah.
And I think, look, the thing about it is, and I like word coming back from the camps over the last couple of days is that there was a good buzz there and people enjoyed it. Brian Kerr was there and everyone likes Brian Kerr and it was good fun. But I think that there needs to be a balance of discipline and fun.
Yeah.
And I think Keane brings that really well. He's like, you know, he reminds me of a mentor I have when I was in college, a tutor I had. And if it's warm under a dragon's wing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get on with someone who is a bit like Keane,
Yeah.
it'll be the best experience of your life.
Yeah.
But if you're lazy and you don't work hard, you're going to feel the force.
Oh, you'd be out, yeah.
You'd be gone. And that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Fergie was like that. Brian Clough was like that. All the best managers, including some of the mediocre Liverpool managers that won European Cups. Like, these people have that in them.
Yeah.
And it's not a bullying thing. It's like, if you don't play well, you're gone.
Yeah, it should be like that at the top level. Like, there shouldn't be any space for emotions, really. It should be pure performance.
Yeah.
You know?
I still believe in him. I think he has a point to prove. I think that he wants to, like, realistically, I think Keane wants to go back and manage in the Premier League, but no one will have him.
No. Yeah.
I think he wants the day-to-day of it all. But he's, look, watching, especially with the likes of the overlap and stuff, he seems to be a much nicer guy than people are giving him credit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The only thing Roy Keane ever did, which John O'Shea did, was not make Luis Figo, obviously.
Yeah, did you see that video, the nutmeg?
Yeah, I've watched it hundreds of times. John O'Shea not making Luis Figo. It is one of the great footballing
did you see there was a mock doc, like he won the World Cup, where they interviewed people talking about it.
Really? Just the
I'll send it to you afterwards. It's brilliant, and it's called the Nutmeg. And they have like him on red carpets and stuff. Like he became like a Ronaldo figure. It's brilliant.
He deserves it. John O'Shea was a hell of a player.
No, he was amazing. And even when he moved on to Sunderland and he was playing afterwards, he was always solid.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd have a bit of fun this week, and we wanted to. Talking about doing this for instead of being negative Nancy's, we wanted to talk just about some of the chants from Old Trafford over the years, because believe it or not, a lot of Irish fans, maybe if they haven't been over, don't really know some of the chants, and we wanted to kind of in a kind of fun capacity, kind of rate them out of 10, have a laugh, play them along so that you hear them if you haven't heard them for the first time. Obviously we have, because we've been over many times. But some of them are really interesting. Some of them are a bit dated, so if you're offended by them, switch off now if you don't like references to Liverpool Scousers being poor.
Are we going from like 0 to 10? 10 being like the Romelu Lukaku chant, and 0 being like the fields of Anfield Road?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like, you know, but they're all United chants.
Okay.
We know this, by the way. Okay, you know, 10.
It's catchy. It's Yapstam.
There's only one curse word in it. No one's offended by anything apart from, you know, if you have a phobia of big Dutch men.
Yeah. As most centre forwards in the 90s did when they played United.
He's like they still sing it at Old Trafford, which is, I think, the best chants are the cleverest chants are always about the best players.
Yeah. Yapstam was his special breed.
For example, they tack old chants onto, apart with the exception of Garnacho.
Yeah.
They tack old chants onto other players, and it's been used like 3 or 4 times, like Ashley Young and blah blah blah.
Well, they used Nemanja Vidic's chant word for word for Nemanja Matic, didn't they?
Very clever.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about this one, and not to kind of celebrate this chant, but more, I suppose, I'll give it a 10 as well, by the way. It doesn't get any better. Like you hear it all the time. Yeah. It's always fun as well when people are doing it. And there's the guy who stands up in the Bishop's Blaze and does all of the actions and stuff, which is hilarious.
Well, I was probably too young when Yapstam was playing for United, but I know you witnessed him a lot. So tell me about what it was like seeing the big Dutch man.
The thing about it is he's not as big as people think he is. He's about 6'1", 6'2", maybe.
He just has the look.
He looks like a hard. The thing about him is that he has a look about him that he would run through a wall and it wouldn't affect him. Yeah. And if you know anything about him, you know that he played through many injuries. And recently, when I seen him play at a charity event, I'd heard afterwards that he plays, even playing charity games, he plays with pain medication in order to do that. Shows you how dedicated he is.
Yeah.
And
what was the one charity game he played recently where he went absolutely through someone on the opposition?
That's every charity game. Yeah. he plays every friendly, like. And here's one thing I noticed about him recently, which was lovely at that very same event. I was pitch side because I was taking some photographs and stuff, and I could walk around the pitch a lot, and I was on and off the pitch, and I kind of heard some things that there was a goalkeeper that went in, and he was jumped in between the posts, and he was like 15 or 16, and someone scored a fluky deflection, and he got caught, and he was lobbed the keeper. But Yap was lovely to him. He went over to him, and I could hear what he was saying. He was like, "Don't worry about it. These things don't matter. It doesn't matter that we're here. We're just players like everybody else. I should have got to it first. You know, you know, you've a great career ahead of you." Like, that's the type of man he is.
Wow, yeah.
To give you some context, he didn't give out and you know, try to gaslight the kid or make him feel bad or anything. He was really nice. But yeah, he was peerless. Like, there was a Champions League game against Inter Milan in the 1999 season, and there's this very famous piece of footage where Zamorano was back with his elbows, and it's literally like he walked back into a concrete wall, and Stam just looks down at him like that as if to go, "Fuck off, you." It's incredible. Yeah. So right, let's play another one. Now, yeah, look, I think 10 for the comedy factor. I actually really like that chant, but you know, Ji-sung Park went on the record recently saying can you stop doing that because it offends people in Korea?
Yeah.
But strangely, about Scousers eating rats in council houses is less offensive than dogs being eaten in South Korea. I think it's a great chant. It's hilarious, and I think that one of the things about the chants is chants exist to give people a kick up the arse, or to provide a bit of entertainment during the match,
or to provoke like the opposition.
Yeah, and to antagonise. But it's also it's less about that and more about a laugh and the creativity of finding a little bit of humour.
Yeah,
especially when the game's bad or United are not playing particularly well in a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, 10 for me as well.
Fantastic. Great job.
Yeah, we're gonna play this one next. A contentious one. Okay, how do we feel about that one at the moment?
I'd give that like an 8. It's simple, it's easy to remember.
Yeah,
but it is simple.
I prefer the cover version with Garnacho.
Yeah. I mean that's a chant like you can teach to, like, you go to your first game and you'd hear someone shout it the first time and you'd be able to repeat it.
Yeah,
and I guess that's it's like a catchy song. That's the whole point.
Yeah, there's nothing to it. I mean, it's a very easy one to remember.
Yeah,
and it's kind of Mediterranean.
Yeah,
which I like.
So I give it an 8 for like its effectiveness, but it's not like a 10 in that.
No,
clever.
If you can get like a clever or a clever play on words or a sarcastic contrast between a song that means something else.
Yeah.
So
it elevates it to a 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7 for obvious reasons.
For the person, or
for both, for that, and I think that's a fitting one. Okay, moving on. Ooh. I like that one a lot.
Good chant.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favourite chants. Anytime I hear that, I feel as if we're they chant that when we're goal down.
Yeah.
Or when he's playing well.
I'd give that a 9. It's a good chant. Catchy.
Yeah.
Easy to remember.
Yes.
But it does have a bit of cleverness to it. And then if you can't remember that, you can just go with the old school Bruno, which is always nice.
We don't talk about Bruno as well. That's another one we can Here's another one as well. Moving on, I would give that I'll give it an 8. Again, in line with Bruno's number. It's you, 1-1. Simple but effective. I'm gonna give that a 9.
That's a 10 for me, because that was when I was younger. Me and my dad used to sing this in our living room, because he was my dad's favorite player, and we'd sing "It's You, Juan" over and over again.
It is him. I really miss him around the place.
He's just the greatest dude on the planet. He really is.
Yeah, and he's just a hipster, and he's cool, and everybody seems to like him. And he played on for another. He won 2 leagues in 2 different countries since he's left.
Yeah.
In Turkey and in the Japanese league.
Yeah,
there's a lot about him.
He was misused a lot when he was shunned it out to the right wing. Still made a really good impact on the team. I think it could have been used a lot better.
Yeah, I think we could have kept him at least for another season.
Yeah,
I think he would have, especially when we're having problems in midfield over this season. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, he's very missed, and he, like, for someone who's won the Champions League for another club, and won the league for another club, he seems to really love United.
Yeah,
love United.
Couldn't speak highly enough of Juan Mata. Just a class act, and like he runs that 1% salary thing, doesn't he? That 1% of their salary goes to charity organisations.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah, he's a great man. Great footballer, great dude.
Yeah, I'd love to go for
nothing but love.
I'd love to go for a Saki with him.
He'd be like, when people ask like who'd be your like dinner guest if you could choose one person to have over for dinner, I'd go like Juan Mata. Yeah, you'd have great time.
Juan Mata and Cantona.
Yeah, and Stephen Fry. That'd be like a great table.
Right, let's go on, move on. I'm not a big fan of that chant, despite the fact that it's the Stratford End chant.
It's probably the most common one that you hear. One of the more common ones that you hear during matches.
It's grand.
It's grand. It has kind of an iconic like place in Stratford End chants, I guess. But it's not the most catchy one. It's not the. Yeah, I think we both agree. Meh.
Yeah, I'd look. It's the kind of staple, it's the Glory Glory Man United one. It is what it is, but the funny ones are fun to sing.
We just pissed off a lot of people.
I know, especially Manx. They're like, what's he saying?
Got them Irish people over there.
How about this one? He comes from Serbia. He'll fucking murder ya. Man, yeah. I love it. 10 points. I'm going to give that 11 out of 10 because that's
just brilliant.
Probably one of my favourite chants.
And used for two players as well without having to change a word. And like Nemanja one of my favourite players ever. Matic did a great job when he came in as well. And just great chant.
Yeah, totally. 11. Here's one. I'm curious to see how you'll react to this. Sorry, Ali.
That when he came in as interim manager and we had that amazing run, and everyone was shouting Ollie at the wheel, was one of the most exciting times of our lives.
Yeah.
And like for that reason alone, I'll give that like a 9. Ollie's at the wheel is a great chance. Ollie's a great guy. We'll see you in September, Ollie.
He's totally. I love Ollie. I love that. I'm a bigger fan of his chant, and I think he's one of the rare people up there with say Cantona and one or two others. Georgie Best has a couple as well. That has a couple of chants.
Yeah.
You are my soldier, my only soldier. That's so clever.
Yeah. You make me happy
when skies are grey.
Alan Shearer
was fucking dearer. And I'm so delighted we got Solskjaer over Shearer. I remember because I was on holidays when you were. What year were you born?
96.
So it was that year.
Yeah,
the summer of '96.
Yeah.
No offense.
That's all right.
And I was a kid, and I remember being disappointed hearing about I remember in the Sunday newspapers, they mocked up. I think it was the News of the World or one of those rags, and they mocked up Alan Shearer in the United kit that season, and I was buzzing.
Yeah,
and then they signed Solskjaer.
Yeah,
but look how that turned out.
Yeah. I don't think there's a man as universally loved as Ollie Solskjaer.
I love him to bits.
Yeah, even though it ended badly with his managerial reign, I don't think any real United fan has any ill emotions towards him.
I remember at the time when he was leaving and he did the interview, I thought, oh my God, this is like a public execution.
Yeah,
but it's lovely, and I think that stood to him so well.
Yeah, he's just.
And if anything, he's even more liked because of that.
Yeah.
Out of his depth a little bit, I think, but overall managing.
Did a great job for what he was thrown into.
Yeah,
and obviously has those iconic moments when he was playing. And 20 legend. Okay, guys, we could talk all night, but if you like the show, head on over to buymeacoffee.com/Cult of Cantona and become a member, or buy us a coffee, and then if we see you out and about,
tap us on the shoulder and we'll buy you a pint. And share with a friend. Share the show on. We're on Spotify, video on Spotify. We're also on YouTube, and we have. You can get us on our social media accounts at the Cult of Cantona on Instagram, TikTok, and on Facebook. Yep. We also have a private group on Facebook for people who listen to the show for banter and bits and pieces. So join that group as well. Facebook.com/groups/the Cult of Cantona, and you can find us there.
Post your hot takes.
Yeah, do.
Unpopular opinions.
And absolutely, and sub the shit out of that. Sub.